What is going on? How is everybody doing today? Hope everybody's having a good day so far. Hope everybody's had a good week so far. We're now at the end of the week. And Georgia Tech fans, I hope you're here because we have another Georgia Tech video. It's been a little bit since we've done one. I think the last one was the Alberto Mendoza video. But today, I feel like the transfer portal is kind of wrapped up by now. I think Georgia Tech's done. I think a lot of teams are done. There are not many guys out there left. But, I mean, obviously, there's going to be some signings. I don't think Georgia Tech is I don't think they're going to make any more. I think they're done for right now. And I kind of want to come on here and do a series breaking over or breaking up or breaking down. I'm sorry, breaking down all of the transfer portal players that Georgia Tech did bring in. Now there's about 20 of them, so this is going to be a part one of probably part two or three. So be on the lookout for the next two. But here's part one. These are the most recent guys that Georgia Tech has brought in. So before we do get into it, all the Georgia Tech fans, I greatly appreciate you guys. You guys show me massive amounts of support on every single video that I do post Georgia Tech content. So, yeah, we're going to keep that coming. So if you are a Georgia Tech fan and you do enjoy this video, at the end of it, I greatly appreciate it. If you did, consider subscribing to the channel because lots of Georgia Tech content coming here. I said I was going to keep posting it. I'm going to keep posting it. And you're going to start seeing more. Trust me. We're going to start picking up some more as we get some more momentum. A lot of stuff going into the 2026 season with Georgia Tech football. So I'll be breaking those down in some videos as well. But yeah, let's get straight into it. So the first one is Alberto Mendoza. So a lot of people do know the brother of Fernando Mendoza, previous Heisman winner at Indiana, national championship winner Alberto Mendoza. Yes, now Alberto Mendoza did win a national championship this past year. And he is now at Georgia Tech. So I think this is a very exciting pickup, which I've already made a video about this one, and I'm sure you guys have either seen it or know about this pickup by now. But he's shown a lot of potential when he does come in for Indiana. There's really not much to break down. Yeah, he's still somewhat of a raw prospect because he is super young. This is a guy who I think is going to come in. I think that he's going to win the starting job pretty quickly. Yes, there's going to be a quarterback competition in camp. It's not just handed to him. Brent and the whole offensive staff is not going to come in and hand Alberto Mendoza the job. But when you do go out and get a guy like Alberto Mendoza out of the transfer portal and you are bringing in a transfer portal quarterback that has a very high ceiling, I would say. Because, like I said, Alberto looked amazing. I would say, yeah, I'd say it looked amazing when he did come in when Indiana was up big in games. And I was very impressed with what I saw out of Alberto. And if you could really put that together for an entire season, along with some help that we're going to talk about in just a minute, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about when we get to it. But yeah, I think Alberto Mendoza is going to have a very big season for Georgia Tech. I do think that he will get the starting job, and I'm very excited to see him. If you're a Georgia Tech fan, you should be excited to see Alberto Mendoza on the field. If he can pick up any bit of traits that his brother did, you know him. It's a very smart family, very smart football family as well. And I think Alberto is going to have the same type of traits as Fernando. Yeah, he's not as vocal as Fernando, but you'll see it on the field. I believe Alberto Mendoza is going to be a very good player. So the next one is Jaiven Plummer. So Jaiven Plummer, transfer from Cal, played 27 games, mostly on special teams, so he didn't really have much of an impact like on the offensive side of the ball. He did have 2 receptions for 86 yards, 1 touchdown, so two very big plays when you have 2 receptions for 86 yards, including a 51-yard touchdown, a 51-yard reception, I'm sorry, and a 35-yard touchdown. He's a big body receiver, as you can see, 6'3", 215, with a good catch radius, and I'd say he's a good potential red zone target and contested ball target. So you'll probably see him on the field, which is, I think that's kind of why Georgia Tech brought him in, because he's going to be a pretty reliable red zone target. He creates size mismatches with DBs because obviously DBs are a lot shorter most of the time, especially at the college level, especially with the smaller corners. And big playability. As you can see, like I just went over his 2 catches for the season. They were both big plays. So there's some big playability in there. Limited touches at Cal, but chunk gains when he was targeted. And he's a very good blocker. He's a very good blocker as a receiver. So that's something that Georgia Tech's offense is really gonna you're really gonna see that on Georgia Tech's offense with Jaiven Plummer. And I do think that he has some upside in his receiving game, and you're gonna see that showcase this season. So Jaiven Plummer is a very intriguing one to me, kind of how Georgia Tech uses him. But yeah, I don't think it's a bad pickup whatsoever. When you could get a guy who can contribute, whether it's in the red zone or in the blocking, I think that's big. Now, Justice Haynes. This was my favorite pickup of the entire offseason for Georgia Tech. So Georgia Tech just went out and got one of the I'd say he's probably the best returning running back in the country. Justice Haynes was an absolute animal at Michigan. He was a former number one running back in his recruiting class out of Buford, Georgia. And he comes right back home, pretty much right in that Buford area, kind of. I know it's not right there, but it's around that area. I mean, I live in Georgia, so I kind of know. I kind of know what's somewhere around. But yeah, Buford. We actually played Buford in high school. But anyway, yeah, Justice Haynes comes into Georgia Tech, and I think this is an absolutely massive pickup for Georgia Tech. He's going to be an absolute explosive runner who's going to fit perfectly in this Georgia Tech program because you've seen high level development at the running back position from Georgia Tech these last few years. And Justice Haynes is going to come in, and I think he's going to have the best year of his career. He did have some injury issues last year, so there's some injury concerns coming off of last year. How, like, is he going to come back the exact same? I think he will, because I think Justice Haynes is a phenomenal player and a future very good NFL running back, I think. But yeah, Justice Haynes, he's going to really help out Alberto Mendoza, which is a young quarterback coming in. He's going to establish a run game, which is going to open up a pass game for Alberto Mendoza. And then if Alberto Mendoza can really get going and really start to settle into the new system, you'll see Justice Haynes really explode as well. So super big pickup. This is my favorite pickup that Georgia Tech made during this offseason. Now the next one is Spencer Mermans, tight end from Yale, coming over from the Ivy Leagues. He's a big physical pass catcher and a very good blocker who adds depth and toughness to the tight end position because that's something that Georgia Tech really need. He's best known for his elite blocking ability, and yes, elite blocking ability, which is in 2025 he earned one of the highest rated. He was one of the overall highest graded among college tight ends in the blocking department. So that's something huge for Georgia Tech. So what you kind of noticed so far, the two pass catcher positions that they went out and got are big blocking guys. So you'll really see that established in the run game as well, and probably see a lot of like screens and stuff, wide receiver screens, which you'll see the receivers and tight ends really block to create more separations for, or create more big playability for shorter the shorter plays will explode into more bigger plays. I don't even know where I'm going here. But, he paves the way in the running game. He helps the offensive line sustain blocks downfield, which is going to be very big. He does have limited receiving stats, only a couple of catches last year, or not even last year, in his whole Yale career. He's shown the ability to make plays when given a chance, including, I think, a touchdown catch, I'm pretty sure. But yeah, Spencer Mermans, you'll notice him blocking a lot. So that just kind of look forward to that. Now, Tim Griffin coming over from Cincinnati. He's another guy from Georgia. He's a very versatile defensive lineman. He can play tackle. He could play defensive tackle. He can play on the interior. So he could, he could, not defensive tackle, I'm sorry, because that is the interior. He could play on the edge. He can play in the interior. That's basically what I was trying to say. He is a redshirt freshman. Versatile defensive lineman with really good size and physicality, which is very good. Good technique and physicality as well. He's particularly known for his run stuffing and gap contend. He's a good gap contender, so he's going to be crucial in the run game on the interior. So you'll probably see him more on the interior, I would think, especially being 6'5", 275. You'll probably see him bulk up a little bit more because he is still very young, still a redshirt freshman. Tackles very well, holds his ground against good offensive linemen, which is very big, and that's something that Georgia Tech's defense really needed improvement on. So he's just a developmental young piece, and he may get some rotational reps at times this season. So I'd be looking out for Tim Griffin. Very curious to see what they do with him as well. Now, the last one that we're going to talk about in this video today is Noah Carter, coming over from Alabama. He played 2 seasons at Alabama, which was 24 and 25. He appeared in 14 games in those 2 seasons. In 2025, he played in 11 games, recorded 9 tackles, and half a tackle for loss. A couple of quarterback hurries, which is going to be very big, and I think that's going to translate over to the ACC as well. He came in as a very highly rated recruit at Alabama. He was a 4-star prospect nationally and one of the top edge rushers in the entire state of Arizona. So he has a very long athletic frame, so very good size for a pass rusher. He hasn't been a full-time starter yet at Alabama, but his physical traits and pass recruiting rankings, I'm sorry, I'm talking too fast, give Georgia Tech confidence that he will come in and be developed into a more consistent contributor, which I think he will, because I remember I'm pretty familiar with Noah Carter out of high school. I did watch him before he committed to Alabama, and he stood out to me. He definitely stood out. So I do like Noah Carter as an edge rusher, and I do think there's a high ceiling there. You know, when you look back at his scouting report, they noted good lateral movement, good first step quickness, good pass rush potential, obviously. Through, he has a lot of room to grow. He definitely has a lot of room to grow, mainly the technique and consistency area, which I think he will. And I think you'll see a step up to his game in the ACC because coming off of SEC play, I think that he'll come in and really put on a good showcase in the ACC. So, he still a lot of room to develop, and I think he's going to be a very good player. So that is it for this one. If you are a Georgia Tech fan and you did enjoy this video, I greatly appreciate it. If you did, consider subscribing to the channel. You guys show me massive amounts of support on all the Georgia Tech content that I do post, like I did mention. So I'm glad to have you guys back. If you did make it to this point, leave a comment down below. Let me know what you think of any of these any of these transfers that Georgia Tech did bring in. Now, like I said, this is part one. Still have another one coming, so be on the lookout within the next few days, probably for part two, which will most likely just go over the rest of them because they're a good bit more. So we'll make that one kind of a quicker video. But yeah, that's it for this one. I hope you guys did enjoy, and I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.